Can I tell you a secret? I didn't do story time with my baby until he was about 10 weeks old. And I used to feel so guilty about skipping story time until I learned how to fit it into everyday mom life. Today, you'll learn 5 simple storytime hacks that you can start implementing with your baby today. Number 1, let go of perfectionism. So when I was pregnant, I was looking so forward to story time with my baby, to the point where I incorporated story time to my baby when he was in my womb quite a lot. I would sit down on the recliner with a stack of books, and I would read to him in my bump. And I don't know, they say babies can hear you inside the womb. I don't know how I know all that, but I was so excited for story time that I was gonna do it while pregnant. I had these glorious envisions of someday when my baby was actually here in my arms doing story time for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just reading all the books, glorious times. He would pay so much attention. Yes, so at the time of this recording, my son is 7 months old and he is very wiggly, and doing long, beautiful story time is rare. It happens, but it's rare. And I do have a goal, and I'll talk about that more probably in a different video, but I do want him to be able to sit still in my lap, or at least sit in my lap contentedly for about 30 minutes at a time, because that's about how long sermons go at my church. And so I want him to know how to sit in our arms, sure, wiggly, of course, but I want him to have that skill. And story time is a great way to build that up, but I don't want to have that glorious ideal, and if I hold myself to that standard that I had back when I was pregnant, I would be very disappointed in my current reality. So let go of your perfectionism. If you have this ideal of what you think story time is going to look like, odds are it's not going to look like that. If your baby's a newborn and you're trying to do story time, he might fall asleep. Or if your baby's wiggly like mine, he might be squirming, he might be kicking his legs, he might be turning the pages upside down and backwards, and just I'll put a clip here of my son doing just that earlier today, where he wanted to look at the cover more than he wanted to look at the pictures, and that's okay. The goal is connection, not perfection. If your baby is interacting positively with books, that is a win. So hack number 1, let go of your perfectionism, let go of whatever ideal you have in your head of what story time should look like. There are no rules. Every kid is different. One child is probably gonna be different than your next, you know? So just go with the flow and just read. And that leads me to my next tip. Number 2, keep books throughout your house so they're accessible, so you can grab them to read as you have time. So in our house, we have a couple books over on that TV tray. I have the Babies and Kitties book and a Mother Goose book. So if we're in here sitting on our bed, we can look through books when we're doing that. When we're in our living room, I have a basket of books by our recliner. I like to grab those after, if we do a contact nap, I like grabbing the touch and feel books so he can look at those as he's like waking up from his nap. We'll look at a couple of books then. In his room, we have books on his forward-facing bookshelf, and then we also have some on my nursing cart. I've turned that into a bookshelf too, so it's right by the chair, because due to the setup of the room right now, the bookshelf is not by the chair, so I kind of had to make it work. So think about your house, think about where you normally go, and put books there. My best friend, she would keep a basket of books in her bathroom so her baby could look at books while she's getting ready for the day, and I think that's so smart. If you would like ideas to know what sorts of books you could get to fill up the areas in your house, I have a free Build Your Baby's First Library PDF that I will link in the description down below that you can download, and that gives you my current favorite board books for my baby that I would recommend for you. So grab that, download down below. Tip number 3, micro story times. Okay, so remember my vision of 30-minute story times, and again, that's the goal for sermons at church. But in our day-to-day, micro story times counts. Even if it's just for 1 or 2 minutes, that counts. Because again, what is the goal? The overall goal is that your baby has a positive interaction with books, and they have short attention spans because they're babies. So what you can do is just after you finish feeding them, grab a book, whether that's breastfeeding, formula, or even eating solids at the high chair. Grab a book and read them one story, even just a couple pages. This morning, after he finished eating his breakfast, I read him The Very Hungry Caterpillar while he was still in his high chair. And pro tip, benefit of reading while he's in the high chair is that your baby can't crawl away. They're contained. They have to sit there. So I gave him a toy, gave him a teether that he could like chew on while I'm reading him this book, and I read him The Very Hungry Caterpillar while he was still sitting there, and he loved it. He liked seeing my facial expressions while I was holding the book, and that was just a great way to get in story time while we were already doing an activity. And along those lines is tip number 4, which is work it throughout your day. So just like how you're putting books throughout your house, think of your rhythms that you have as you are staying with your baby. So in the morning, you might read Rise and Shine and Give God the Glory, Glory. That song, you might read them that book as you're getting up for the day. It's a great, you're literally rising and shining. And that was a song I like to just sing that to my baby whenever he was like a few weeks old and he was sleeping terribly at night, you know, and waking up so often to eat, and I was exhausted. But I'm like, we're still gonna rise and shine. We're gonna give God the glory, glory, even when we are exhausted. So it's a good reminder for me too. But you can sing that in the morning, or you can sing some other good morning book. I'm sure there's some more out there. I have not discovered them yet, but I'm sure they exist. And then, you know, Very Hungry Caterpillar for food. That makes sense. I like to do some books before his nap time, like after he's had a lot of movement and activity during that wake window. I like to kind of end with stories, like even before we put on the sleep side for a nap too. Like we just will read a couple books because he's a little bit more drowsy at that point. So that's when I'm able to get a little bit longer of a story time because he's a bit more chill. Still wiggly, but a bit more chill. You might read Goodnight Moon before bedtime, before naps. So just think about, again, your day, your rhythms, especially if you're staying home with your baby. When can you put those throughout your routine? Do those little micro story times, but throughout the day. It doesn't have to be just one big story time. You can just squeeze it in here and there. Tip number 5 is that you don't have to read every single word on the page. It's totally fine to just, here's my book, it's totally fine to just look at pictures and be like, oh look, apple, pear, and so on. I have a whole video about how to do picture talk with your baby. If you would like to watch that and learn more, you can click this video right here. My name is Kara. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something today. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you never miss a video. I'll talk to you again next week, and make sure you grab that download below. Bye.